Cards here, guys. Thanks for joining me again. What I've got right here is a very odd situation here. Obviously you can see we're putting in a new shower. This will be a custom tile shower. It was a fiberglass unit for this bathroom. So in the remodel process, pull the fiberglass shell out. I guess when this was made, it was framed in a little bit big because what they had, they had one bias on top of the studs to, help the fiberglass shell fit right. But in the process, this 45-degree wall right here came out, and so there's like all these gaps on it. You saw there a second ago, the up and down. I've got a almost 2-inch gap here running between the concrete board and the sheetrock. We got to fix that because, first of all, the tile's going to come right here to the edge, but then there's going to be a gap, and I've got to finish this drywall because the drywall is going to meet the tile and everything like that. So how do we do that? So we're going to fix this like we would another drywall issue, even though this is unique. This is a product from a company called Strait Flex. Okay, they sent me some samples of various products they have in their line for me to do these videos for. And it's about time I started doing some of these videos to help you guys out on some of these oddball situations. But we're not going to use standard drywall tape. Okay, we need something a little bit different, a little bit better. Okay, some of you will be like, okay, well obviously we're not using the paper tape because it would barely stretch the span right here. Why not use some of that extra wide mesh stuff that you see that's self-adhesive? It's really great, right? No, first of all, I gotta put this in here real quick. That self-adhesive mesh tape, whether it's the standard width or the extra wide, whatever, it's terrible. Okay, it's terrible. Please do not use that. I know they sell it at Lowe's, Home Depot, hardware stores, even drywall stores will sell those. It does not work. It does nothing. Try to make it real simple and clear. Why does it not work? You're like, well, they told me it works and it was super easy, so it's great. Okay, first of all, you gotta get that out of your head because you don't even know why you put it on there. Alright, the reason why drywall guys use that paper tape in the seams when they build your house is that paper literally gives a physical barrier over that seam. Okay, where the two sheetrock boards meet each other, it actually creates a physical barrier over the seam. That's why it's a solid paper. That way when the house settles, because the house will settle, that crack is going to be in between the two pieces of sheetrock. And that paper tape above it covers that crack line when the settling happens. So you don't see that crack. I mean, unless it's a serious settling crack where it rips the tape. But standard, regular settling cracks happen all the time. You just don't see them. They're happening behind that paper tape. Okay? When you put that mesh up, that self-adhesive mesh, which is like 95% air and 5% product, there's nothing there covering it up. So as soon as the natural settling of that house happens, whether it's 6 days, 6 months, or years down the road, those cracks are going to show up all over the place. And then you're going to be hitting yourself. You're like, why did I spend all that time to do that? Now I got to do it again. And it always takes more time to tear it apart and do it again the second time. Now this here does have holes in it, but it's not that airy mesh stuff, okay? The majority of this product is here. It's not more air than product, all right? So there is going to be a physical barrier over that. These holes, help. So when you put the drywall mud up and you push this in, so the excess mud can come through it, and it helps to alleviate any air bubbles that are behind it, okay? Because we're not applying this with some expensive machine like the drywallers do, and obviously this doesn't even come out of a machine because this is 5.5 inches wide. This is what they call a roll patch, okay? It's made for making patches like a doorknob goes through a hole, a doorknob makes a hole through the wall, right? You guys always done that? Or someone's punched a hole, okay, or didn't punch a hole in the wall? Alright, this is what this is made for, but I'm going to use it as a joint seam. So I can cover this whole thing with one piece of tape instead of having to do like multiple rows. Alright, so first thing I need to do is there's kind of a gap here. So I'm going to fill some of that gap in with some quick setting joint compound. I'm using the quick setting stuff because not only does it help get this moving faster, but it cracks and shrinks less. Okay, but you do need to use some kind of a joint compound. You're not going to put spackling in this, so do not get yourself a big tub of spackling and throw it up in here or use that to apply the tape. Please use real joint compound. And if you don't have any experience with this, using that quick setting stuff is really not the one for you. Just go ahead and get that tub of pre-mixed joint compound and try to fill in this a little bit first before we apply the tape, alright? So I'll come back when I do that. Alright, welcome back guys. You can see here I've already pre-applied the mud. I've already filled in that gap. I let that dry, set up, and I pre-applied this to go for the tape. Now this roll patch here is great. It's actually used for a lot more calming purposes than this here, because this is a very extreme in a rare situation. What this is really good for, like I briefly mentioned before, the doorknob handle goes through the wall, some baseballs goes through the wall, fist goes through the wall. Maybe you've gotten a remodel thing where you've done yourself, or one of your friends helped you, who knew what was doing, supposedly knew what he was doing, and you know, cut out the hole for the outlet or light switch way too big. Alright, this is also really good for that. So you're going to take the roll, figure out how much you need, cuts real nice, better with 2 hands, there on the ground. Alright, so let's pretend that's our patch we're going to put on the wall. It actually has the dimensions, a little drawing here, the diagram, thank you, diagram for the size for a single gang electrical box, which fits a regular light switch or a regular outlet, for a double gang if it's those 2 switches side by side, or even the round light fixture like up in the ceiling. So if it's been cut too big and it's hanging out, the cover plate can't cover it. This is a good patch. So obviously you got to take the switch or outlet off. Then you're going to cut the outside of this, the inside of this out, alright, to be able to put where that light switch or outlet goes. Sorry, I don't really have a table here. Now if you're going to do it this way, you're going to apply a thin coat of drywall mud, joint compound, technical term, about a 1/4 inch thick at the back of this, okay? Alright, you're going to get a little messy, it just happens. You're going to stick this where it goes, okay? And you want to press, you can see how, as I press, the extra joint compound comes through those holes, which is great. So you kind of want to work it around towards the edges, okay, so that there's joint compound everywhere, alright? So there's our patch on the wall. You get a little extra joint compound now, and we're going to go over it, okay? And you kind of try to feather the edges, which means you try to get them smooth towards the wall. So the better you do that, the less sanding you have to do later. This doesn't require more than 1 coat. You have to come back and do another coat bigger around this one to make it blend in with the wall. But that's how the patch should work. Normally, that's the normal use for this. I've already got this cut and folded here to help save time. So we're going to apply our gigantic joint tape, if you will, from the roll patch here on the corner. When I bent it, it kept its shape there for this 45-degree angle, which is great. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Now we've got to press it in place, get out the excess mud. Alright, I'm going to finish that up, but you guys get the idea. That's how these work. This roll patch here from Strait Flex, it's a great product, alright? I really like it. It does a whole lot that a lot of other products don't do. You can buy it where your quality drywall suppliers are sold. But if you can't find that in a store near you, in the description down below I'll put a link to their website so you can go directly to them and either find a distributor or order it directly from the company. Guys, thanks for this video. If you like it, please share and subscribe to my channel, and also in the description below will be a link to my website. Thanks again.